For this assignment, create a new canvas and title this Task 28 Color Spheres, and make this a 12 by 12 inch 300 resolution canvas. All right, so to start, I want to go ahead and create a gradient background, just like the last painting. But the gradient background, we're going to make our own custom color. So down here on my foreground and background color, I'm going to set my shadow to be almost like a gray desaturated blue. And then my background color here, I'm going to set to be kind of like a light yellow. Okay. So I set these two, and when I go up here to my gradients, this first option is set to be what I set it to. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag from the corner, and you'll see I have my nice gradient there. I might, there we go. I like this better. Okay, so go ahead from here, grab your ellipse tool, like your shape tool, and create an ellipse. If you push shift, it'll create a perfect circle for you. And I'm going to set this one to be like a primary blue, but I might actually desaturate this so it's not as bright blue as this. Okay. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and rasterize my ellipse. So I'm going to right click over here on my ellipse layer, rasterize, and then I'm going to select it with my magic wand, and then I'm going to go ahead and start painting my my values here. So I'm going to open up my general brushes and grab my soft round, crank up my size of my brush. Okay, actually I want this to be a little bit larger. All right, so I'm going to grab this blue and select almost a darker version of it. I want to go ahead and start painting in. That's way too dark, so I want to lower my opacity. Painting in my shadows. Slowly build up my values. I'm going to now switch to my highlight, but I'm going to make my highlight more of a yellow, because I'm going to pretend like my light source is like one of those tungsten bulbs that have more of a yellow light to it. I start large, click, gradually get smaller. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in my reflective light down here. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So right click, duplicate layer, move this over here. I'm going to hit Control T, make it a little bit smaller, and I want to change the color of this. So let's go ahead and go up to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and let's change this to be yellow, like that. Okay. And then from here, I kind of want to change the color of my shadow here. So I'm going to grab my magic wand. Actually, I want to show you guys a nice shortcut. To automatically select all of this, if you hover above your thumbnail here and hold Control, see how when I push Control, it pops up with that selection icon? Control, click on the thumbnail and it'll automatically select that. It's pretty nice. So I'm going to add more of a blue shadow because this yellow sphere is going to reflect some of that blue. So I'm going to switch to blue, and I'm going to actually turn down my opacity because I don't want to add too much. And I'm going to add a little bit of a bluer shadow down here. Like so. Go ahead and make this a little bit lighter and add in that reflective light down here. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and deselect, and now I'm going to make a copy of this one. So right click, duplicate layer, move that over here, Control T, make it a little bit smaller so it looks like it's going further in the background. Let's change the color of this to be red. So I'm going to go up to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, try to find that red. There we go. Okay. And then you'll see it's already kind of reflecting some of that blue. Let me go ahead and select this. So Control click or right click, select pixels. That'll also do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and paint in that blue a little bit more. And then this is going to be reflecting some yellow. So I'm going to change this to be that yellow color here. And then paint in some of that yellow. Okay. And then finally, let's go ahead and add our reflective color here. So I'm going to click on Ellipse 1, select my pixels here, paint in some of that yellow. So I might grab more of a really saturated yellow. Pop in some of those nice yellows. Okay. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and make our shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my ellipse tool again, set it to be black, drag out my cast shadow, drag it underneath, rasterize it, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and soften my shadow. Okay. Now I'm going to move this a little bit more underneath. All right, so I'm going to grab my eraser tool, set it to be 0% hardness, lower my opacity, make my brush a little bit bigger. I'm just going to fade my shadow. Okay. This shadow is probably going to be a little bit more of a blue because it is underneath a blue object. So I'm going to go ahead and paint in some of this blue color underneath. Get this a little bit more. Okay. See how I'm just adding a little bit of blue underneath there? Okay. Let me go ahead and make another cast shadow. This is going to be black. Okay. Let me go ahead and rasterize it. Now go Filter. I want to just select Gaussian Blur. It's going to apply the exact same amount of blur as last time. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my eraser tool again and fade out. And I want to duplicate this because instead of like making it all over again, duplicate layer, move it underneath here, Control T, make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm going to go back here under this ellipse and I'm going to add in that nice yellow reflection underneath, like so. And then I'm going to grab red, go on to the red's cast shadow, paint a little bit of that red. And then from there, you're ready to save this as a JPEG and upload it to Classroom.